Hello everyone, welcome to Sade's Tarot Tea. So today guys, I have decided to finally do my reading on Martin Luther King Jr. I've been wanting to read on Martin for a very long time now, and all of a sudden I am being told by Spirit to read on him, but I'm a little confused as to why I'm being told by Spirit to read on him. So if you guys know if it's the anniversary of his speech, or because as I was meditating on Martin's energy, he pointed me to his speech. So I'm feeling something very interesting for him is that he lives in a loop around his speech. Like he constantly lives in this loop around his speech. So I was listening to his speech as I was meditating, and I was getting really emotional. So I'm picking up on a lot of things from Martin already. So let's go ahead and get started into Martin's reading. But before I do, I just want to let you guys know that I'm available for personal readings. So get your personal reading from me at sadestarottea@yahoo.com, and just email me and we can set up an appointment and everything, and I'll tell you the rest via email. So guys, I have my Obsidian. I'm holding my Obsidian. I was told before you read on Martin to have Obsidian, and I put my necklace of protection around me. I was told through Spirit that they're going to be protecting me during this reading, not because of Martin, but because there is dark energy around Martin. It's kind of a little disturbing, the energy I'm feeling around him. The first thing that I'm picking up from Martin Luther King is that he's very angry. I keep picking up that he's angry. When I first asked for permission to read on him, he told me no. I kept getting a no, and I was like, okay, I respect that, that's fine, you know. But then he kind of opened up. It was interesting. He opened up his energy a little bit better. As I kept meditating, I was going to just give up and just be like, okay, I'm not going to read on him. I'm going to, of course, respect him. So then he pointed me to his message of his speech that he did, and this speech is absolutely beautiful. Of course, we've heard his infamous speech, I Have a Dream. It's funny because, you know, Martin is saying to me already that he knew that, you know, the things we're going through, he knew that it was going to repeat. He knew that history was going to repeat. He was very, very psychic. Martin he's always told me that through his energy, that he's saying to me that he's very psychic. He knew, he had a lot of premonitions in his sleep. He had a lot of dreams in his sleep, which makes sense because he has his moon in Pisces, and he also has his Venus in Pisces. And I actually wouldn't be surprised if Martin was a Pisces rising, but he had a lot of premonitions, and a lot of dark things followed Martin even as he transitioned into the spiritual realms. He's telling me that things started to follow him. He's also telling me, guys, that he's stuck in this realm of heaven, and he can't get past a certain realm of heaven, which is crazy that he's telling me that, because I remember when I used to work at Macy's, there was a guy that came in, and I never forgot this guy, but I truly believe that this guy is gifted, but they diagnosed him for schizophrenia. Well, I remember this guy was going on a tangent about how Martin can't pass, like how he can't transition because he's angry. He's too angry to ascend to higher realms in heaven. So I was like, I'm getting transported back to, it's like Martin is in this time warp. He's in this time warp. Like, he can't get out of this certain realm of heaven because there is something that he is supposed to learn through his time being in this realm of heaven. But it's like, you know, it's kind of like a video game in a sense. Like, he passes one level, but then he gets blocked by this other level that he can't seem to pass. Is like the best way I can describe it, is a video game. I don't know why I'm describing it that way, but I am. But I was told through Martin and my spirit guides to actually grab Obsidian, because Obsidian protects people from dark energy. So I've never been told to grab a certain stone before I've read. I will usually grab my amethyst, and I'll, you know, be able to really become in tune with my psychic abilities with this stone. But I was actually told through him and through my spirit guides and protectors to grab my Obsidian before I read on him. So I just want to go ahead and read on the type of person Martin Luther was, and I feel like there is a message that even till this day from his speech, I have a dream, that really transpires into what we are currently going through. And I want this reading to be really deep because, you know, Martin Luther is a very deep man, but I pick up, guys, I can't help picking up about him. He was a very angry person, like very angry, and of course he was angry, right? Look at the time he grew up in. There was so much, you know, hate. There was so much injustice going on. And actually, guys, I am pulling the justice card for him. As I was meditating on Martin's energy, Justice, the Knight of Wands, and the Ten of Swords flew out. I definitely feel that there was someone that was very close to Martin that he trusted. I want to say that this was someone that was he's telling me that he was murdered. There was someone that he trusted as his ooh, okay, he's telling me that there was someone around him at the time that he trusted that was spying on him. He found out as he passed, and that's why he's still angry, because he trusted this person. So whoever this person was backstabbed Martin. I'm getting the Ten of Swords in the reverse, saying that there was a backstabbing that happened to Martin Luther, and he trusted this person. This person was a narc, and I'm actually being told, even, I keep hearing assassinated, even though Martin wasn't, I don't know why I keep hearing assassinated, guys, but I'm going to go with it. He's saying assassination to me. He's saying that there was somebody he trusted. Of course, he wasn't a president, but he was looked to as a president, you know, and a lot of people in his time looked to him as I don't want to say a dictator, because he wasn't a dictator. He was a leader, of course, of his time. That's something we know about him. He was a leader. So I'm not surprised, actually, that I'm hearing assassinated, because that's how people looked at with his death. You know, they looked at, you know, that I don't know how Martin was Martin murdered? He was murdered, right, guys? He keeps telling me he was murdered. So actually, let me look at that, because I want to make sure that I'm hearing correctly. Wow. Guys, I am hearing Martin Luther. People, okay, I looked it up. Assassination by firearm. I heard assassination. I heard assassination. I'm gonna cry. Like, that's why Martin is so angry, because, guys, I just typed in, how did Martin, and before I want you guys to see this. I want you guys to see that. Assassination by firearm. Literally just looked it up just to confirm that I was hearing correctly. Oh my god, guys. Crazy. Guys, that was crazy. I can't believe I heard that correctly. Oh my god. I know that this is like, really, you don't know that, but I never looked into Martin's death. I never looked into it. I just always saw him as a public figure. But anyway, there was someone, Martin is telling me there was someone that maybe, I'm hearing there was someone that was a narc, I heard, because Martin actually was planning deeper things into his time being of a leader to people. He was planning on doing bigger things, and honestly, that is why Martin is so angry, because I'm feeling it, guys, he was planning on doing deeper things that would lead to more of justice for people, for the African American, and just for people of color. He wanted to do bigger things, but people felt that he was getting too big. People felt that he was getting too much in power, and I'm feeling like he was heavily betrayed. Heavily betrayed. That's what Martin is telling me. I'm hearing, I was heavily betrayed. That's how I'm hearing him. I'm seeing Martin is taking me back to when he was a child. I keep getting told that he was very wise. Martin was very wise for his age. When he was 5, I'm picking up that he would read, like, all the time. He was heavily into education, and he would sneak and read, because his mom didn't, like, his mom always wanted him, as I spoke about Martin's mother, look what flew out, the Empress. Martin's mom was heavily into him getting an education, but I keep picking up that Martin had a really interesting relationship with his mom. I don't know, his mom passed when he was coming of age, is what he's telling me. His mother, I don't know what time, I mean, I don't know around what time she passed, but he's saying his mother, he's telling me he's in between realms. He's in between realms. But his mom was in and out of him getting an education. His mom wanted him, of course, to get an education, but education for them at the time, being African American, was very dangerous because they didn't want, you know, whites didn't want blacks having an education. Now there was, of course, we know there was Jim Crow law. There was, you know, certain exceptions to people getting an education of color, but they were only allowed so much of an education. So Martin is telling me he actually had to sneak and learn a lot of what he knew. Martin is also telling me there were times where he was thrown in jail. He was imprisoned because, and he actually felt he felt trapped. He felt like he couldn't do anything without people watching him. Martin is telling me he always felt like he was being watched. He said that he took on the responsibility of helping people, but there was a dark side to Martin that people didn't really see. He's showing me that he would drink. He was very, very angry of a person. He hated living on the earth that he lived on, because at the time he was very grateful that people saw him as a public figure. He was grateful that he touched so many people's lives, but he's telling me that it was a lot of pressure on him. It was a lot of pressure. They didn't really have celebrities. He's telling me we didn't have celebrities like we do, like you guys do now, but of course, like, Martin would be considered a celebrity, you know. He's saying to me that his public figure energy, the way he was a public figure, came with a price. He experienced a lot of people coming up to him. As I said, that the Ten of Wands came out, signifying that there was pressure, a lot of pressure put on him. He was very grateful with the Ten of Cups in the upright. He was very grateful for the opportunities that being of a public figure gave to him, but at the same time he hated that it was the thing that Martin is telling me he hated that it was the thing that set him up to be murdered. He feels that people were so ungrateful for what he did. He didn't feel appreciated for what he did, and that's a lot of where his anger is coming from. Why he's a very humble guy, guys. I don't want it to sound like he's like cocky or he's, you know, he's entitled. He's not, but he feels like his work helped people, but he's angry at the same time because he feels like we're still going backwards in time. So to some degree, guys, I hate to say this, but he does feel like, what was all my work for? Yeah. He does love the love and respect that he gets till this day, but unfortunately, as we know, it didn't start paying off until after he passed away. Oh, Martin. Oh my God. Guys, he's showing me when he was murdered. Wow. I'm so surprised, guys. Okay. Okay, I don't know if I'm seeing this correctly, guys, because sometimes Spirit doesn't show me things in visions very easily, but he's showing me that he was on his way somewhere and he got murdered. So I'm seeing it being dark, so I don't know if he went out somewhere and then was murdered, but he's showing me the day leading up to. So either I'm seeing the day he led up to being murdered, or I'm seeing his day felt like he felt something was off the day that he was murdered. He felt, remember I said, guys, he felt like he was always being watched, and Martin started to see that he couldn't really trust people. So when he got murdered, he wasn't expecting who it was coming from to murder him, but he felt, he would have these like nightmares. I'm seeing him wake up in the middle of the night and he would have these nightmares. I'm seeing his wife next to him, And he would have these like nightmares, and he would have to turn on the light. He liked to read books a lot to calm himself down out of these like anxiety attacks that he would have. And that's a lot of the times why Martin is telling me he would drink, because he would have these premonitions of him getting murdered. He would have these premonitions of people watching him. He always felt like somebody was watching him. He always felt like he wasn't safe. So he's not surprised that he got murdered. He's actually angry about it, because he felt like he did so much for people, but at the same time Martin made a lot of enemies in his time of serving, you know, the people. And that's kind of, I keep saying serving the people, I hear assassination. So people look to him as a president, and unfortunately, you know, I wouldn't even be surprised if people didn't want, you know, John in office at the time. I'm also feeling like, okay, I'm wondering how Martin feels about John, because I keep seeing parallels. I did see a video paralleling to it or something. So I'm really curious as to how Martin feels about John, because there's something to Martin's death with John. It's interesting. What? I keep seeing a white man betray him. I'm wondering if that's John. Okay, that's what he's telling me. Okay, so John didn't murder him, obviously, but John hired someone. He's saying John hired someone to murder me. So if you guys are seeing the success and growth in the, it was in the upright, but I'm seeing it in the reverse. But I'm seeing how this guy looks, he's a white guy, guys. I keep seeing a white guy that murdered him. But I feel like this guy was hired by John to murder him. Or, you know, John's people. You know. I feel like we've seen photos of John and Martin together, but it was someone that I keep picking up on this white guy. Guys, that John was close. I mean, not John, I'm sorry. See, John. I said John. I keep picking up on a white guy that was close to Martin. And it must be John, because let's see if Martin will answer me. Guys, this was someone Martin was working with that he thought was on his side. There was someone that I feel John hired this person. He didn't like that Martin was becoming, because I keep feeling that people wanted Martin to be president. Or they were pushing for Martin to be in the White House. Martin would have been one of the first black men to be in the White House. It was Obama. As we see, it's Obama now. But Martin did pave the way for Obama to be the first black president. Wow, guys. It's fucking crazy. Martin would have been the first black president. Oh my god, this makes me so sad. No wonder he's so angry. Oh my god, guys. I'm literally heartbroken. Like, oh god. Guys, look. Lead in the reverse. Okay. Obviously, at his time, Martin couldn't have been president because, of course, we know the history. They were heavily racist. But I feel like John was threatened. I feel like Martin was making close friends that were of white people as well, and they were also pushing for him to be president. There was some pushing to be president, but I don't know why, because I feel like John was an ally. But remember, guys, when I said in my Marilyn Monroe video, I said that Marilyn said that John was racist, but he betrayed, and he betrayed. Why am I, guys, I am so fucking astounded right now. Like, betrayed. Martin is saying betrayed. He betrayed me. What the fuck, guys? I'm not even joking with you. I didn't expect this. I know nothing about Martin. I know, take my black card, I know. I mean, I know about what he did for us, but I don't know the history of Martin, okay? I don't know how he grew up. I don't know much about him. I didn't do my research on him, okay? Just so y'all know, I didn't do any research on Martin. I wanted to read on Martin for like the longest time, and I want to come into this reading as a blank slate. But I can't believe how much Martin is opening up. No wonder he said no at first, because he is hurt. Martin is so fucking hurt because there were people that he trusted. And he has that Pisces moon. So he really does trust, you know what I mean, guys? But he quickly started to see that he couldn't trust people. Let's go ahead and throw up Martin's chart. Capricorn, Sun, Moon in Pisces, Mercury in Aquarius, Venus in Pisces, Mars in Gemini. Let me look at his north node. Okay, Taurus. So his south node would have been in Scorpio. Oh, God. Saturn in Sagittarius. Martin was so good at networking with people. He was so likable. He was so good at making allies, and he really truly thought that he was making a breakthrough. And he's so angry, guys. I cannot stress that. I don't want to keep beating the dead horse and say that he's angry, because of course Martin would be. He was murdered. But the reason Martin is so angry is because he was murdered by someone that he trusted. He was murdered by someone, or someone had him. I keep hearing that John. Why do I keep hearing John's name? John had Martin murdered. What the fuck? Guys, are there any pictures of Martin and John together? Because I keep seeing pictures of them. Like, why do I keep seeing it? Okay, so he's saying too that he's telling me that he's trying to learn to let it go. He's trying to learn to embrace what he did. I'm paying attention to my embrace card, guys. I don't know if you can see that. And then, you know what, guys, when I said he wasn't going to open up came out. He's starting to open up to me. So sometimes, guys, this is how spirit works. I'll get a no. I'll keep meditating, and just to make sure, you know, that they're okay. Martin is heavily protected, but there are a lot of dark entities that are kind of around Martin, which is why I keep grabbing for my obsidian. Obsidian protects against dark demonic energies, okay, guys? So he is telling me to protect my energy and to not get too close to him, because he does suffer. A lot of depression still follows Martin, and this is why Martin cannot ascend, because he still gets swallowed up into his darkness. I feel that Martin lived a lot of his life serving the people, but he was one of those energies where he was one of those souls that would go and suffer in silence. So this is why it was so hurtful to Martin when he was killed, because he started thinking that he was making alliances. He was beaten a lot of times. He was thrown out of events. He was really hated. So as much as Martin was loved, he was hated. He just wanted equality. I'm surprised he doesn't have Libra in his chart, but he might be a Libra rising as well. But, you know, I'm not saying that Martin was a mean person. He wasn't a mean-spirited person. He was a very kind soul, but he was in his time on the world. I do pick up that Martin was bullied a lot. He was treated as a nuisance. I keep picking up that he's angry. He keeps showing me his wife, guys. I don't know why he keeps showing me his wife. I keep seeing Martin the day he was set to do another speech. He's saying that he was set to do another speech. He was supposed to do another speech the day he passed. And as he was walking to his speech, he didn't have proper guards. He didn't have security like, of course, John did. He keeps showing me he was shot in the back. Was he shot in the back, guys? Or was he shot in the head? There might have been multiple shots, guys, okay? There might have been multiple shots. I remember when I did Nipsey's reading, people were like, oh, he was shot in this location. Okay, well, there could be, you know, there could be different ways that spirit shows me someone being killed, okay, guys? Dreams coming true. He was somebody that, oh God, Martin was such a dreamer, guys. He was such a dreamer. The way he saw things, the way he visualized things, he knew there was, he knew. Okay, so he would get a lot of premonitions would come to him. He saw in a vision, he saw in a dream that we would, that's why he said, I had a dream. because he truly would have dreams, premonitions. And he's telling me that I would have premonitions, I would have awakenings of, you know, of better days. I would have awakenings of, God would show me visions of us having better, he saw so much. He predicted, Martin would predict a lot of things. He predicted segregation. Obviously, he would tell his mom when he was younger that segregation would end. He would tell his mom to not go in certain areas. He would tell his wife, like his wife would try to go, he's telling me his wife would try to go in certain locations where there weren't, you know, there were things that they would say, oh, colored people can go here, but then it was like a trap. There were like setups, like, so he's showing me that some white people would like show certain areas of power where people could say, oh, you guys can go here, but it was their way of wiping, because they were trying to wipe the black people out. So at the time, they were trying to wipe black people out at the time in certain areas, and he's showing me that he would tell his wife to not go to certain areas. Don't go down that block because this is going to happen. He lived a lot of his life in fear, because the darkest fear card is coming out, guys. He's showing me his darkest fear. His darkest fears started to become of him. So he's showing me in his time of passing, he's had to really transition into a different person. He's not that same person he was on this planet. This person that lived in, he hates himself in a way because he felt he was so naive, but he really wasn't. But he's beating himself up because he's like, I was so naive in certain areas where I trusted people. But love card is in the reverse. He was saying that he wanted people to love each other so much, but there were so many times where he was angry with people and he was angry with himself, and he turned into this very hateful person. So it's like, even though, wow, Martin is saying he didn't want people to see that he was low-key this hateful person, this spiteful person. And it's not, guys, I'm not saying that he was a bad person. He was just someone that was so angry and tainted from, you know, the generation that he grew up in. So he has to learn, and he had to learn as he passed. His body had to go through so many spiritual awakenings, even in heaven, okay? He's also telling me that he was almost, okay, so there's a part of hell and heaven. So there's an in-between. He was sent to the in-between. That's what I'm hearing him say. He calls it the in-between. I was sent to the in-between because I was such a spiteful and hateful person to myself and on the inside, and how I started to become angry at, not in the physical realm, guys. He started to be this person more so. It followed him as he transitioned into the spiritual. He's telling me. Martin is saying that because of that, demonic activities start to follow him, kind of, and it scares him. So he's saying that in his time transitioning, God had to send him back so he could learn to heal better. Because in heaven, you're not allowed to enter with hate in your heart of any kind. It doesn't matter if it's to yourself. It doesn't matter if it's to other people. You cannot enter until you cleanse yourself. So he really had to go through a cleansing of his fears, of his because one of his darkest fears, guys, was people seeing that he was so angry. So I'm not saying that he would come to people and be like, you know, mean to them or anything like that. He would hold back a lot of his anger. But also too, people thought he was an angry person because he would speak so passionately, he's telling me. But I'm picking up that he would get misconstrued a lot for being angry, and he was angry, but he was also very passionate, he's telling me. Oh my God, Martin, thank you so much, Martin, for letting me in this much. Wow. But he was a big dreamer, guys. I'm getting the 9 card a lot, so that is telling me that he really was a part of, like, I keep being pointed to Jupiter and Neptune, which is his Piscean energy. He keeps pointing me to his Piscean energy, which is, he was so psychic. He was so psychic. He saw things before it happened. He would have very intense dreams. He would warn people. And that was all part of how his speech became, that speech that I have a dream came about, because this was a very vivid dream. He saw blacks and whites sitting together. He saw us, what he saw today. If you think about it, that speech, it's happening today. So fucking crazy. He literally saw that in a time, guys. I don't think we have to. Oh my god, Martin, he's so psychic. Oh my god, guys. He saw like so many premonitions of us, not just of blacks and whites sitting together, but he saw so many things that we're going through today happening back then. Even down to like technology, because he has Mercury in Aquarius. So he saw like technology increasing. He would, and you know what? I keep being pointed to John because Martin would tell, oh my god. Oh my god, guys. Martin is telling me that he told before him, okay, he told John to watch his back. He told, I hate to say this, I'm not trying to bring hate into my reading. Martin is saying don't say it like that, Sade, but the fact that John got assassinated, that's his karma. Because he literally betrayed Martin. This is making so much sense, guys. This is crazy. Are there pictures of Martin and John together? I have to look at this before I post this. I'm gonna post it if it's, guys. Okay, Martin is telling me that he tried to warn John before he got murdered. So John was murdered after Martin. Was John murdered before Martin got murdered, or was? Oh, okay, never mind. Because there was a video where John announced Martin was dead. Okay, so sorry guys, but Martin's telling me no, I passed before he passed. So Martin is telling me that he tried to warn John he was gonna get assassinated. He tried to tell him, but he didn't listen to him. He was like, oh, thank you, that's so kind of you, thank you for telling me. Like, a lot of times Martin would get bullied, a lot of times people would brush Martin aside, and so when he really took a stand and demanded that he say the speech, oh my god, there were so many people that were receptive of that speech he's telling me, but there were also so many people that hated him. You know, he made so many enemies, guys, which I'm sure it doesn't take a psychic reader to tell y'all this. When someone in this generation speaks out so passionately and so adamantly about that, they're gonna make enemies, obviously, but he's telling me that he was murdered by someone he trusted that worked for John. I can't, guys. Yeah, I keep hearing John's name, guys. Anyway, so let's see if Martin wants to say anything before I wrap the video. That was what Martin wants to tell me. He was very, very wise, guys. Even as a young boy, he was so wise. He observed a lot. He observed everything. He often had to detach from his reality. That's why he would drink. He's telling me he would drink. Because he was so empathic. And I say that a lot here on my channel, guys, but literally Martin is so empathic. He still has visions. Even in the spiritual, he still has visions. He still has visions, he's telling me. Martin's showing me him as a little boy, how he would try to sneak to read. And oh my god, he has that love story of like Michelle and Obama. That's so cute. With his wife. He's with his wife now. Okay. He's kind of disappointed. I keep picking up that he's happy at how far, because I'm asking him, what do you think of how we've done after you've led this legacy? Like, how do you feel, Martin? Like, how far we've come? And he's saying to me that he's proud, but we need to observe more. We need to love each other more. He's saying, I kept getting that love card, guys, in the reverse that I showed in my reading earlier, his reading earlier, but he's saying we need to love on each other more, which I was saying that in my my COVID reading. He agrees. He's saying that we've come very far. He's proud of how far we've come, but he's predicting, even in the spiritual, he's predicting that there is going to come a period still where human interaction is no longer going to be a thing, where he already saw, guys, the coronavirus isolating us more, and he's talking about there is going to be more isolation. I'm also wanting to know what he sees, because he's very okay. Okay, Spirit wants me to ask him so I could say it in the video. Martin, what more do we need to know dealing with this coronavirus? Martin, you predicted this before. What more do we need to know? Okay, guys, so I asked Martin, what more do we need to know? Because I do feel like he wants to give us a message about this coronavirus, what we're going through. He has predicted this coronavirus so long before it's happened. He wants us to know that just because this coronavirus is keeping us down, just because certain things, not just the coronavirus, guys, but just as us as a humanity, he wants us to see people for who they are, accept people for who they are. He's saying that you know, even though these things are happening in this world, we're not opening up our eyes. We're living still, he's saying we're living in ignorance. You guys are still living in ignorance. I'm saying we're living, but he's saying you guys are living in ignorance. You know, you guys need to open up your eyes more. You need to, you know, really accept and like love each other and stop isolating. He's saying that this is not the time to isolate. He's saying that yes, he sees more darkness and depression going on in the world. He's telling me that right now. He's saying that more isolating and more isolating, guys, sorry, I'm getting the messages. More isolating, more depression will happen. He speaks very fast too, so I'm trying to keep up with him. He sees more isolation happening, more depression happening. He's saying that there's a plague coming. I said this too. He's saying that there's a plague coming. There's a plague coming. He's saying more terrorist attacks. More terrorist attacks. He's saying that we're not healing properly, so more hate is going to happen, more anger. He's also saying that this is going to bring families together more. Families together are going to come out more. He's saying not to isolate. Don't isolate, don't hoard. Healing needs to happen. Healing is not happening. And that's why the virus keeps spreading more. People are not listening. People are not listening. That's what I keep hearing. Destruction. Destruction. Okay, guys, he's saying there's a big hurricane that's coming. A big hurricane. Big hurricane is coming. More storms. More storms are coming. Where, though? I think we already kind of know this, but he's saying the world is there's gonna be an ending. There's an ending coming. The storm will... Okay, so he's saying that we're going to move past the coronavirus. We're going to move past this, but there's more coming to our world that will end our planet. He's telling me that we need to take better care of our resources. Something about recycling? Recycle better? How they're recycling, it's killing the planet. What? He's saying we're not using our resources properly. So that's going to kill our planet, which we do know that. But he's saying it's worse than we think it is. A hole. Oh my god. A hole in the ozone. I feel like I'm in science. The hole in the ozone. We're going to have a hole in the ozone. That's really going to affect our planet even more. It's going to get bigger. He's saying it's going to get bigger. What the fuck? Don't trust... Ooh. Don't trust the government. Don't trust our president. Don't trust the president. Don't trust religion. Churches. Trust spirit. Trust your spirit. Open up your third eye. Trust spirit. Don't isolate from spirit. That's what I'm getting. Don't isolate from spirit. Trust your spirit. Don't trust outside sources like governments, companies, schools. They don't have your back. Strengthen bonds with your family. Strengthen bonds with your family. Make good ties. Have good karma, because endings are coming. There's more coming. He's saying that past this coronavirus, there is more coming. There's another disease coming. He's saying there's another disease coming. Hurricanes. More hurricanes coming. Thunder. Tornadoes. Infestation. Bugs that are going to wipe us out. Oh, God. Oh, my God, guys. Okay. Okay, let's see. He's saying it's going to get better for a little bit, and then it's going to be bad. He's saying stay strong. Strengthen bonds. Thank you, Martin. Oh my God. I hope these people take this advice. Oh, fuck. And guys, I'm getting intense messages. I started hiccuping. What the fuck? I'm getting hiccups, guys. That means I'm getting intense messages. Third eye. He wants psychics to open up their third eye more. There's still stuff that we're not seeing. He also wants you guys to follow your dreams and don't hold back. There's a, oh my God, there's an ending coming, guys. There's an ending coming for us. Another ending. Ooh, thank you, Martin, for coming through. That was an intense reading, guys. I started getting hiccups. I'm gonna stop the reading right here. That was like really fucking intense. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of Martin's energy. That was intense. What the fuck, man? I hope you guys enjoyed this reading on Martin Luther King. He more so wanted me to give a message and to talk a little bit about who he was as a person and just what happened. I wanted to get more into his death because he started showing me that, because he does live in that loop. So let's pray for Martin Luther King. Let's wish that he ascends. Let's want that for him, okay, guys? He needs to ascend, okay? But so let's hope that Martin ascends. Oh my God. So again, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this reading on Martin Luther King, and I wish all of you guys well. Please stay safe. Please be kind to one another, okay? If you guys would like to book a personal reading with me, please email me at shadestarot@yahoo.com. I look forward to speaking with you guys, and subscribe to my channel if you have not. Go ahead and hit that notification bell for when I pull up, okay? I hope you guys all have a good day or night. Like I said, please stay safe. Please be kind to one another. Love and light, guys. Bye. Namaste.